I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're
The Ghouls
Next
Door.
I almost forgot we had to sing.
That we do that usually?
Yeah. I forgot what I am.
Stuff.
Because I'm not me.
Oh my god, who are you? You're like super weirdly attractive. Like in this extraterrestrial way that's like super hip for the 80s, which is where we are.
No, I thought we were in the future. We're in the 80s. Wow.
Yeah.
I am an alien, so
Yeah.
I've been an alien my whole life. And I'm going to continue to be an alien if that's okay with you.
Yes, I'm super accepting of that because like people suck and you're the only one who gets me, and I'm not like dumb, but I'm also not bright. But I don't want you to get the wrong idea.
What kind of idea is that?
That Earth ghouls are easy.
Yeah. I don't have that idea. Come do the sex. It's totally fine.
Okay, Jeff Goldblum.
Winking.
Winking.
That's how the humans do it, right?
Yes.
Romance.
Romance. Yes. If you didn't pick it up, we are doing Aliens, the Future and Romance of, which we've kind of talked about before. We've touched on aliens quite a bit, and I think we could do more in depth. Listen, the last two episodes were a lot emotionally. There were a lot of emotional labor.
I was like sad for a whole 2 weeks straight. Sad and angry. It was like a weird mix of the two.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I feel like we always feel that way a little bit, but like it was extra. It's just like, what's the point?
Yeah. Like people suck real hard, and it just made us really sad. So we decided to pick a fun topic where we can watch some silly movies. And that's to say, like, aliens can get real deep and can get real crazy. And we've done that before. So just a disclaimer up front that this is probably going to be a little more fun than it is, like, serious scientific fact and, conspiracy theory. So if that's what you look for. Yeah, we need a break. So we got really goofy today, and we are dressed after one of the movies that we watched to kind of talk more about that, get in character.
I'm just a regular alien, but yeah.
And I'm just a girl whose, like, fiance cheated on me, but I totally accept him. Yeah. Like, it was a mistake. Men make mistakes.
Where's your hair?
Where?
Why are you more?
Why am I not full of hair?
Yeah.
As humans are pretty naked. We're naked.
I don't even know where my forehead begins and my hair begins because it just keeps going.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's really beautiful.
You're so exotic.
Facts. Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts.
Singing songs about aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jeff Goldblum and really hot. So.
Oh, yeah, I forgot it was a musical. I always forget.
Yeah, they sang a bunch of songs.
They weren't, like, musical-like songs. They just sounded like songs just happening.
Yeah,
like songs that you just hear
really
in passing.
Bad.
Yeah, like it never felt like the songs were in any way motivational to what was happening. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to our film section. But right now...
So if you didn't know, I am your resident alien expert. Because clearly, I am 100% an alien, so...
I mean, a human wouldn't do this to themselves.
Yeah, why? Why would a human do this? Because this is my natural appearance, and I'm beautiful.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm an alien, so don't question any of the things that I say thus far. So, as you remember from our previous episodes, we were like really scared because every time I went on the internet, I was like, oh, we're there. I thought we were totally cool. I thought we were safe. I thought like everything was fine. We weren't. I had no idea. I had no idea robots were already like where they were. I had no idea
that clones are happening.
Yes, that's crazy for $50,000.
Yes.
So, good news, everyone. This just it. We're fine. Aliens, other than me, will not. I'm sorry, it's itchy. My skin won't be found anytime soon. In that, well, it's like we don't know, but like we're like pretty sure.
Yeah.
So, like, everything I read, it was just like, we might find aliens soon. Like,
Yeah.
that was the whole thing. It was
Well, they
like,
did just
"Ooh,
pick up, like,
maybe."
some radio signal
I
recently.
did read that, too.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
been, like, going.
Yeah, there's a few things.
Pretty
So, we did find microbes on, like, an asteroid that had once been on Mars.
Ooh.
So, that's kind of interesting. In that, like, but, like, no one really got excited about it because it's not like they were, like, sentient life.
Yeah.
It's like, we have discovered evidence of sentient life on Mars.
Yeah.
It's like,
But if you find
No.
life at all, that's pretty interesting.
well, yeah. So essentially, it wasn't like a fossil of a creature,
Yeah.
but it was of specifically. So this takes me back to when we talked about Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yes.
But they found globules
Globules.
inside like the meteorite. So like they went all up in it. They took like samples and stuff. And it's funny because they didn't know it was from Mars originally. They just thought it was like a regular thing that fell from
Run-of-the-mill
space.
asteroid.
Yeah, it like came here in like I think the 50s, I want to say. It was like real early, and then they like didn't know what it was, and then like 50 years later or something. I'm saying just nonsense numbers, but this is kind of it.
The gist.
The
The
gist.
time of period.
So yeah,
has
basically
changed.
what they figured out is that at one point there was liquid water, essentially, on
Liquid
Mars.
water.
Like water, like in the form of liquid.
Yes.
Not like frozen, not
Yes.
that kind
Not
of stuff.
gaseous.
Yeah. So basically, what they found inside were globules or traces of such that
That's so
had like
weird.
complex organic compounds called polycystic aromatic hydrocarbons. It's like fancy.
It sounds like the Grease song. Hydromatic, whatever he says.
Yeah, all that.
Grease, like
But microbes specifically.
globules.
But like no one really cared because it was like, all right, that's cool that whenever water might have existed, and then it got hit and put into this thing that fell onto our planet.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean aliens exist. Like no one, like it did. People were like, oh okay,
Yeah.
but no one got like excited.
Yeah.
And then as you were saying, there
are
was
the globules? So, are we to believe that Ed Warren's idea of globules, those little glow lights that we see, are those supposed to have substance? That is that why he called them that? We should ask him.
I feel like he made up the word, but then it just happens to be a real
science
word.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
right. That sounds like them.
But basically, it suggests that there was once water on Mars, even if it's like underneath of Mars, because it like specifically mimics places that like we have on our planet that like are in caves and stuff. So like when you accumulate a lot of water, it forms like rock formations and stuff like that. So it like indicated that that was a possibility, which is exciting in that like stuff was on Mars once.
Yeah.
But again, not like sentient alien life. So no one was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
they're so real. They're
It's
coming.
happening, yeah.
They're coming. Like they're on their way. And then basically, as you said, they did have like the little like radio listens. Mm-hmm. And people were freaking out about that. I read this really funny article. It was basically like, it's a terrible time for aliens to find us because we suck.
Yeah.
Like, what if they
We've
called?
always sucked.
I know.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they're like, what if Trump answered the phone? And be like, oh, we'd all be dead. That's so
That's
true.
That's like, did you see that article that was like, if Bernie Sanders gets elected? he's
Yes,
gonna-
that's the one. That's my favorite thing. So, guys, I'm not telling you who to vote for.
But
I'm not trying to influence, as an alien, the Earth ballots
yeah,
of America.
and the ballads. We're all singing about it.
Yeah. But Bernie Sanders said that if he gets elected, he'll tell us if they found aliens ever.
Like he'll open up Area 51 for us to go Naruto run into.
Maybe, I don't know.
That
He was
sounds
just
like
basically like, his wife's like into the idea of aliens
Yeah.
and like that kind of stuff. So she's like, she told me I had to do it.
Yeah.
If I win though, only if I win, will I,
If ever
Bernie
there were
Sanders,
a reason. If I would, yeah,
let
I can't say-
everyone know if aliens are real or not.
Yeah,
I don't
the
know if
hands
that's
thing.
actually how Bernie does, but
He does.
a little bit.
A little bit. Okay. You know better than me. What?
That's how we say we love you.
You stare at people with your eyes really wide.
Yeah, that. But yeah, so if he wins, we might get to know if aliens are here.
Yeah.
Would be exciting. I think the answer is no, because the guy who used to work for the CIA or FBI or something was like, guys, I would have known if it was in there.
Yeah.
It's not in there, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. So Area 51 is just normal. There's some other interesting theories that like aliens, so essentially to explain all the UFOs, they're like, maybe time travel. Maybe it's just humans who came back and we're like, well, let's see what this is about. But why would they come now? This
We're not
isn't
that
like,
interesting.
also, like, we already ruined the planet. It's not like, go to a time where you could have saved
if they're
it.
from the future,
Like, don't come
they
here.
should go somewhere else.
You're in like the prime bad part. Right before it gets real bad. Like, we can't fix it at this point. We can just maybe slow it down a little bit.
Unless the time traveler is Bernie Sanders.
What, saying vote for me?
Yeah, because then he can change it.
He doesn't know. That's not something you could possibly know. That's like a hypothetical scenario.
He's saying
in
that
which...
he would change things so that the climate could be better. Like he would put in climate change stuff.
I know, but it's too late. It would slow it down.
Yes.
But we already messed it up.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, some people think it's UFOs are time travel. But one thing I thought was really interesting is that we all kind of like accept that alien life is a possibility. Like 1 in 5 Americans specifically believe that aliens could exist.
Why not? It's kind of like selfish or like, you know, single-minded to not imagine that there's something else that just us.
In this like very vast universe that we are this little blip of existence and then nothing else. It's like, no.
You gotta be the meat story where they're slabs of meat that use air. They push air out of their meat to communicate.
It was like,
that whole thing, and then they're like the meat, and it's people. Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah. But yeah, so essentially, like technology is getting up there. They're really learning how to like build communication systems. They're doing like infrared scanning of other planets to try to see if oxygen is there. Like they're making moves, but every single article I read across the board, space.com, Insider, Vox, The Guardian, they're all like, it's not going to be now. And if it was, that sucked, but like also probably not. So I'm really relieved in that I was like convinced we were all going to die. That like aliens had already said hello and I missed it. And I mean, some people think like they already visited and that's what they're hiding in Area 51, whatever. Is it 51? 61?
Yeah, it's 51.
51. Cool.
No, 69 was the cool one.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is like, I was really worried that we were there.
Yeah.
That the aliens were already here. Or like that, honestly, like that we had advanced enough to travel.
To be
more
worthy enough.
Like, or just like, more so it's like, had we developed a way to travel into space in like hyperspeed and stuff like that. It's like, we're not there yet. We're not necessarily like super close. We're making positive moves. Like if you think about like how advanced we've gotten in the last 50 years, yeah, we're making great strides. If we continue with the same momentum, then like it's very likely that we will get there soon, some point. Like, but like no one's thinking it's this year. It's not 2020. Yeah. No, it's not.
Well, unless you're the kind of people who believe in like, you know, encounters of the third kind who've been abducted already.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of people who feel like they've been abducted. Mm-hmm. And we don't know. Yeah. Honestly, if that's true or not. But
yeah.
So I guess it's like pick which one you want to believe. You want to believe there's a big conspiracy that like this is happening all the time and we're trying to hide it because we don't want to accept the fact as Men in Black. Mm-hmm. There's a whole society of aliens living in people's skin, like hiding all over, like
in Edgar suits.
Yeah. Have I been this whole time an alien? I'm not saying yes, but also I am, because for character keeping.
Yes.
So, we're not there. We're like, We're like,
for us at least to be in that place where we're open about it.
Yeah. But we're not, NASA's not like, today.
Yeah.
Like, it could happen probably in like 10 years, 15 years.
Yeah. If you have been abducted by aliens, then you should write us at theGhoulsNextDoor@gmail.com. Because I'd like to hear that.
That would be interesting.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and there's actually, I was telling you about the doctor, professor, retired from Temple.
Yes, yes.
Who was very strongly believing that UFOs and, like, aliens exist. And, like, has been getting a lot of crap for that, so.
There used to be a meetup group for UFO enthusiasts in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's no longer happening, but maybe we can kickstart it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, films. We watched some films. Now let's talk about those.
So we watched some stuff.
Yeah.
We watched several things.
Yeah, I
for
did
this.
that. With my alien eyes, I did that. I watched some things. So.
Why do you have to specify that it's alien eyes?
No, just kidding. They're normal.
Look with your alien eyes.
Look at me with your human eyes. Why do you have to look at these people? We're supposed to be in love. Whatever,
love.
fine. I'm gonna leave this planet and you.
No, don't leave me.
Ugh,
We're in love.
are we? Are we?
Yeah.
No, we're not.
So we watched several things. We started watching. I always forget the name of it. It was like In Her Skin or something. Scarlett Johansson.
Yes.
And
It was weird.
it was really artistic, and we were just like, we're kind of exhausted after the last 2 episodes that we were just like, I can't dedicate the mental and emotional energy to dissecting what this is saying. So instead I put on Earth Girls Are Easy.
Yeah,
'Cause
we were
it's
like,
fun.
oh, this is a whole time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to like read articles, wondering
Yeah.
what this means.
Just to figure it out. Just to figure out why we watched it.
Yeah. And I'm happy we didn't do that. We've quickly put on Earth Girls Are Easy, and it was
Yeah.
just a grand old
No,
time.
we got through, like, I think we only had, like, 30 minutes left.
Oh, yeah, no, we did. You're right.
So, I mean, we
watched at
could
least an
always
hour.
revisit. But I was, I put on Earth Girls Are Easy because it's fun. It's
was
from
fun.
1988, and it's directed by Julian Temple, and I will tell you what it's about. In this musical comedy, Valerie is dealing with her philandering fiancé, Ted, when she finds that a trio of aliens have crashed their spaceship into her swimming pool. Once the furry beings are shaved at a girlfriend's salon, the women discover 3 handsome men underneath. After absorbing the native culture via television, the spacemen are ready to hit the dating scene in 1980s Los Angeles. Which is what's happening right now.
So, are you telling me that if I just like Mulan,
Wipe your
it'll all
body.
be gone and I'll just be gorgeous?
Yeah. You'll be Jeff Goldblum.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff, who is real fine in this movie.
Oh, yeah, no,
they they turned
he's
it
fit.
up. They've turned up the dial on him
Yeah.
in those scenes. It also has Jim Carrey and Damon Wayans.
Yeah.
So it's super fun. One of my favorite lines is like they are all getting turned into people. And when Damon comes out, he says, "Oh my God, you're like totally black," because that's what the girl said.
Yeah.
Because it's like, of course they don't know. He was orange or something before that.
Yeah, he was one of the
Yeah.
like really wacky colors.
Yeah.
Just like blue, red, and orange, I think.
Yeah. And it was like, Jim Carrey's like a little baby in it. He's very little
He's
and
very
he's just
young.
goofy and he does goofy. They say weird sounds or like lorp.
Oh no, they can mimic sounds that they hear, and
Yeah.
then they like use that as a way of communicating.
And a lot of the songs were from the Valley Girl friend who did the makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a lot of her like, I'm blonde and it's fun. Yeah. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I won't have a lot to dive into it, but it happened. I enjoyed it. I will say this. I've always misunderstood the 80s as someone who's born in the 90s. I always thought it was just really crazy.
Yeah.
Like, ridiculous. I was like, why
Over the top,
is it
whoa.
like this? Like, and I never really loved those, like, classic 80s movies that everyone loved. Mm-hmm. And then I watched this, and there's all this, like, costume jewelry, and there's all this, like, over-the-top, like,
Yeah.
everything was, like a comically large version of something else. Or, to me, it looked like if you went to a gift shop and there's, like, those weird, like a big shoe or something. Like that, and that's what people's like houses were. Or like their phone was a hamburger.
Fashion.
Yeah. It was just, and it was like whatever you find. Like there's like a scene that I love where they're like, oh my God, I love your earrings. And she like shows them and it's just cut up like American Express cards. And she's like, thanks, they're my dad's. And I was like, that's exactly like, I've seen like another film completely different where it was like someone had like a fork and like a spoon in their ear. And they're like, oh my God, where'd you get it? Like the kitchen. Like it was literally like you found stuff, you repurposed it to make weird costume jewelry, and you had a lot of fun. So I enjoy it from that standpoint where I feel like I now understand.
Yeah, you're like, oh, it was just a weird fun time. And I love the 80s now because I'm like, it sounds really fun. Yeah. Like everyone was just doing something wacky. It was bad for the environment because of all the plastic and all of the hairspray, but everyone's hair was permed. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Everyone embraced their curls, which is nice. Yeah. Which is why I love how my hair looks right now. But yeah, the film is cute, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's like 100% like a romance either. It's just kind of fun. Well, it's absurd. Spoilers. She runs away with him. She's like, ew, my fiance's the worst.
Well, she was gonna marry him.
I know.
And then he did his little like his like sex tingles, which is his powers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can like make people feel like sexually attracted or excited, which is like, of course the alien can do that, right? Because that's what they do. And so he did it to them and they were making out, but then she like realized like it wasn't working on her. And that's when she's like, it didn't work. No, I love you. And then she went with him. Yeah. So it was like, and they had a really romantic scene and where she's just like, what if our parts don't work? And then he just like is naked, like off screen. She's like, oh, never mind.
No worries, it's totally
like, come
fine.
on in, get inside. And it's like, what else would you say, Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah, I mean,
come on in. He's on everyone's list.
He was really.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. That was really good.
Thank you, Jeff. But we watched other stuff.
Beautiful in times. Yeah, we did. We did watch other stuff. Specifically two things, but I'm going to talk about one of them. Okay. We watched Freaks of Nature, directed by Robbie Pickering. It's from 2015. It was also a time. Vampires, humans, and zombies used to get along in Dilford, but then something unexpected arrived. And now it's humans versus vampires versus zombies in an all-out Mortal Kombat. It's up to 3 teenagers, of course, to try to get things back to normal.
Yeah. I read that and I was like, I 100% want to watch this. Mm-hmm. And it's so absurd and so silly that it was like perfect.
And it also goes back to like that thing you were saying last episode where you're like, basically if... it would be so cool if aliens came. Yeah. Because
we could something unite. New to be prejudiced against.
Yeah, and unite and be prejudiced against that instead of being all divided and hating on each other. Yeah. Which is ultimately what happened in this movie. Like, they did coexist, but they didn't like each other, and then they arrived, and, like, chaos ensued, and then they, like, happily coexisted after that. Yeah. And the aliens were, like, chilling. They just wanted, like, to get some... plastic or something. It was like something. They wanted something ridiculous, like dumb, wouldn't impact the humans at all. Yes. And it was like, we had to lock y'all up because you were all killing each other.
Yeah, because you just lost your mind. Yeah, I would say there's a lot of, it was unexpectedly really charming. Mm-hmm. And like, there was a lot of like lines that were said and like, it's just very deadpan. It's very like an instant classic and like, it's silly and it definitely isn't taking itself too seriously, which is fun. And it does these absurd things where like a very serious conversation will be happening while someone's being like devoured. Yeah. And then also like it makes fun of all those like tropes of like vampires and zombies and all that. Mm-hmm. Like one of the cutest things is like the nerdy kid who's like super smart. All the zombies want to get with him because he has a big brain. He's got the brains.
They want to eat his brains.
Yeah. And I was like, when that clicked for me, because I was like, why are all the zombies on him? And I was like, because his brain.
He's a smart boy.
And I was like, right, and brains. And I love that. I thought that was cute. So there's all those little subtleties and like the Edward Cullen looking character. Vanessa Hudgens is in it. And she was doing her own thing.
Yeah, she was fun.
It was fun. And it was I wasn't expecting it to be as charming or engaging as it was. I like stuck up the whole time. I was like, yeah.
I honestly thought it was going to be like one of those like Walmart movies.
bins, yeah.
I was like, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be really weird. And then it was really great. It was like hilarious.
Yeah.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I was like, oh wow, all right. Come on, movies. This is a second random win in terms of just outright ridiculousness that I'm really happy we watched instead of like sad stuff.
Yeah.
So
Which was nice and refreshing. Which we did watch something that was a little more serious.
For sure,
But it was
yeah.
still fun because it was very action-packed and it wasn't super like high budget Michael Bay or like Independence Day. I don't know.
I don't know who directed
whoever
it, but
does
Will
it.
Smith's on that.
Yeah, but like, you know, the big, you know, blockbuster type
Yeah.
horror movies or alien movies. This was like, you know, it definitely feels low budget and definitely feels like it was just weighing on or leaning on the characters heavily, and that became beautiful. It was beautiful. So
Yeah.
what we're talking about is Attack the Block, which is from 2011, directed by Joe Cornish. South London teenagers defend their neighborhood from malevolent extraterrestrials, which is like such a little baby version of what it is.
Yeah.
It's a group of kids in London who come from like the lower class neighborhoods and live in like a block, which is like a housing unit that just has a bunch of people who have the same income bracket, essentially. And they're just a bunch of like little like hoodlum kids who are getting up to no good because that's what they do. And then aliens are there.
Yeah.
But of course the aliens aren't just aliens, like as far as like when you're reading into it, which is what I can dive into. But I really, really enjoyed it. It has John Boyega in it as a baby.
Yeah, he was really young. I was like,
He
wow.
did such a great job.
Yeah, he was a fantastic actor, even
Minimal
just young.
words.
Yeah.
And I was like compelled every time he was on screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nick Frost is in it and he's just like awkward, but he like every time he's there, it's like nice to have him. And I it's quick, like honestly was like instantly a favorite. Like it's
Well, yeah,
like a
because
top.
you have this like alien invasion thing happening, and then there's this whole extra commentary about like society and like issues with police, and then also issues with like classism and all this other stuff happening, like all layered in between like these brutal fur glow murder aliens killing all these people. So it's like this really interesting like social commentary while also aliens are happening. Yeah.
Which leads us into my section.
Gabe, say words.
Yes. So, yeah. There's a lot. So I wanted it to be, like more relaxed, and every time I'm always like, oh, I'm only gonna have like 2 things to say. I'll just like find a thing, like, oh, what am I gonna talk about? I'll just talk about like a thing or 2, and then I start writing, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Aliens mean so much things.
Everything means everything all the time. So we have discussed previously how aliens represent different things, or based on like the goals that they have in the time period in which the films are created.
Yeah.
They represent certain things, which is just like normal, right? So like in the past we've talked about real aliens, or like people who had real aliens, and how those are like romance. Like that was definitely a romance heavy episode, because it was like people being abducted and finding their alien like abductee partners, because he had his wife, but he also had his side wife who was an alien wife, and they had alien kids.
Yeah.
And then there was a guy who painted all those pictures of his alien love, who was like had beautiful breasts. That was a time.
Yeah.
So we've definitely done alien love before. And historically, there's usually like 3 or 4 motives that an alien has when it comes here. One is that like their own planet is in trouble and they need to come to Earth either for a resource or to repopulate and use like human alien hybrids to do that.
Yeah,
So
or
they,
like us
woo
as
ladies.
incubators.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. So just like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they were just like, now you're us. Which was like the faculty that happened. Even Chicken Little, they came for resources. Acorns.
Yeah.
Spoilers for the end of the movie.
They wanted those acorns.
Yeah,
They
that
wanted
badly.
the thing they don't have, but we do have it.
Which is the same for freaks of nature. That was like their thing too. So it's like they need something here that only we have, and sometimes that's like fertile women.
Yeah.
So a lot of like 1950s films were like men, like alien men, just like either wooing or taking women. Because, that's what happened back then. There's other ones where they're, like, more intelligent than us, and they come here in, like, attack mode to destroy us before we can get smart enough to go and destroy them, because we're a threat.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's, like, one lonely, like, one person is sent here to check it out, or, like, be like, I'll find the one person, you know?
Yeah.
I forget his name. It's the one with Keanu Reeves. With The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Okay.
I forget, it's like something, I forget his name, but he has like an alien name.
Yeah.
But his whole thing was like he came here to prove like that people were worth saving, and then people were awful.
Yeah.
And it's just always like, you did this.
It adds up.
You did this,
I mean,
you know? Which is like, okay, we get it. It's
we've
morality
always
tale. Yes. Or sometimes like we're just in a science experiment. Like if you think about like more of the documentaries and like what people claim are actually happening, and a lot of the times it's just like they're picking us up to poke us and see like, what does this button do?
Yeah.
And just to mess with us, which is like, I feel like that's a lot. There's like so much work to get all the way over here to just like mess with us.
Yeah.
That seems weird.
Seems lazy.
Seems less likely than the other two. Like we talked about, you know, some of these points in our alien imposters as well, as like the faculty
like
and stuff.
taking us over and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, like wanting a new life, I guess.
Yeah.
Or not new life, but like starting over and using people to do that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk more about funnier things because that's what we decided to do. I will say that it's not all just fun. I will get a little serious because that's how I work. But yeah, because I did find some deeper meaning, even in Freaks of Nature. I will say I don't find much deeper meaning in Earth Girls Are Easy. It is really just fun.
I think it was, at face value, just like a good time. Where it's like, if a hot alien guy came,
yeah,
he would
Earth Girls
definitely
Are
win.
Easy.
Or no, I thought that he would win. He'd
Yeah.
be better than the crappy
Human guy.
Earth humans.
Yeah,
Lame.
especially if it looked like Jeff Goldblum.
Exactly.
But I'll start with Freaks of Nature. We stumbled on it because we were looking at different ones, and there was this other film I can't remember the name of, and I couldn't find it, that was very similar to Earth Girls Are Easy. And then I just gave up, and I saw this, and I was like, I really want to do it. And the reason was because of what you had mentioned that I had mentioned before, which was essentially like this idea that if there were aliens, that now we have this new mutual enemy, and we can put aside our differences because we're all humans after
Unite
all.
Against.
Yes. We are all humans of different colors and backgrounds and whatever, but we're humans, right? And so now we have this new enemy, and it's an alien. Right? Which is funny because we didn't get to watch it, but I was talking about this episode to a friend, Vanessa, and she was like, oh, did you watch this movie on Netflix? And it's like the Time of Extinction or something like that. And it's literally, so this is going to be spoilers for that film, but it's two of our episodes put together. So it's last week's episode and this one, where it's like this alien invasion and they're all running and they're scared, and there's these scary ships, and they come out in their suits. And then at the end, there's like a reveal where they open up their things, and it's kind of like Planet of the Apes type, where they open it, and then it turned out it was people that had left Earth because they messed it up, and they left behind their clones. So the clones were the protagonists that we were following, and that the antagonists were just our regular people.
To take their organs?
They're coming back to just take everything. They want their Earth back after leaving their clones behind. And they don't know because it's been like generations, and it was wild.
Wow.
And I was like, what? That sounds cool. And I'm sad we didn't do it.
That is
a
really
good
cool.
mesh, right?
I
It's a
want to
good
watch
mesh.
that now.
But I just like the idea that like we all rally together Independence Day style, where it's just like, we're Americans now. We're all Americans. Or something. I don't know.
That's why they say, like, war is a great uniter if, like, you're having a lot of on-the-ground issues.
Yeah.
It's just the same idea.
Yeah.
Is that
we just need a common enemy.
We will rally. And, like, governments will do that intentionally so that
people come together.
To get the populace to fall in line, essentially.
Yeah. But I think, like, the thing about this film... So, what I thought was interesting was, that... they kind of advertise it like, oh, we all got along ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then the alien showed up and everything was wrong. But the thing was, like, they didn't really get along. They weren't attacking each other, but it was kind of like a world where it's like we don't see color type thing.
Yeah.
Where it was more about, like, we just kind of existed near each other.
Yeah, but
clearly
separate.
there was a lot of, like, you know, harboring of, like, resentment and anger towards people, because it just took one incident to boil up. So they were all just kind of, like, coexisting reluctantly because they had to. And so it really did take, you know, like, literally that's the whole plot is, like, now they're stuck together and they're even, like, blocked off from each other because they're so angry with one another. But as soon as they start banding together and using their, like, powers for good, then they can rise up against it. But one of my favorite parts of this is that we have this cliche scene where the alien is just like, I only came here for the riblets, which is like this, like, gross kind of, like, McRib type sandwich they have, which is made of clearly fake and altered meat.
Yeah.
And the zombie, who has the most brains, is the one who's just like, you guys are idiots. It's just chemicals and it's bad for you. And of course, these aliens want it. And he does this whole lecture. Like, the alien does this big lecture where it's just like, you are all busy fighting each other and you could just come together and we didn't start the fire, and he's all quoting all this stuff. And, like, usually there's, like, a moment like that in an alien film where everyone's like, oh my god, yeah, we can learn from this lesson. But they're like, honestly, they're just like, F you. Like, how dare you tell us, like, come in here and mess with our lives and then tell us we're the jerks and that we're doing things right. Like, let us to our own devices. Like, who are you to come in here and tell us our lives are wrong? Yeah. And I loved that reaction because I was just like, it was going against, like, the norm of, like, it's just like, no, you know, yeah, we all suck. And now we realize that and we're fine. And that was really cute. It's just like, I think it was surprising, right? Because there are, and I won't go all the way into them because I want to cover Attack the Block a lot more, but there's a lot going on that's, like, about identity when you think about the vampire girl and, like, this whole conversation about, like, virginity and, like, loss of that and, like, a loss of innocence with that whole thing. There's racism, which is just, you know, talking about any different supernatural race that you have and the way that they're all treated differently. Capitalism with the riblets and with Dennis Leary's character and how that happens. But also, like, classism, where you have Dennis Leary's character and then you have the zombie boys family and how they're, like, the working class and how they're like, you just have to work until you're dead. Right? And it's just like, that's just how it works. And also, like, the family. It's about family as well. Yeah. And, like, you know, loving one another and despite flaws and coming together and that, which was really beautiful. And it was, like, funny. It poked fun at itself, and that was really fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah.
But now let's hop over to my actual favorite now. And yeah, because, you know, Freaks of Nature is fun, but it's no Attack the Block. Right? In that, it was a breath of fresh air. Because, like, we were just having fun, and then we had just come back from things that are super serious, and we have this film that's, like, so leisurely on purpose. Yeah. You know, like, purposeful in the way that it kind of approaches really intense subjects. And they're just, like, sprinkled in there, and some of the, like, the most beautiful and impactful things that are happening when there's no aliens around. Yeah. And it's, like, phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
It's, like, the coolest thing. So, in this film we have, like, it starts out where our heroes, like our protagonists, are acting rather villainously. They are stalking. It's just a group of children who are stalking and clearly making uncomfortable the 13th Doctor. And you can see, like, from her reaction and the way that she's, like, already kind of, like, predicting this, that this is a common occurrence. Yeah. That this happens all the time. And so they're trying to rob Jodie Whittaker, presumably because she hasn't figured out how her timey-wimey doctor powers have worked. So
she's not there yet. She'll get there.
Yeah, it's just like an interesting dynamic to set immediately. That, like, but you know right away that they're children. Yeah. They then this like alien thing happens. This alien crashes through the sky. It injures our main character and Moses, played by John Boyega. And then he, as like a young boy who's trying to prove himself, would do, goes to fight them.
Yeah, he's trying to be cool.
And so they go and they fight it and they injure it and they kill it. Kill it. And then they're like gloating, bringing it around town. Which is fine. That's just like a kid thing to do. Right?
To an alien, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like,
ideally not to like an animal.
Yeah, but I mean, like, these kids, like, that was like clearly like they were like going into like the girls and stuff, like, look at this cool thing we found. We fought it. It's from space. Yeah. You know, like
look how tough we are. We've defeated the alien invasion.
Yeah, and like there's like two younger kids, Probs and Mayhem, who they make fun of. Cute. They make fun of all the time, but they are just like essentially little like mimics, and they're walking around and they're trying to prove themselves to them as well, and they're holding their own. They were really cute. Yeah. But they end up going back to the block, which is like this like lower income kind of area, this building, and it turns out that the doctor also lives there, who's a nurse in this. We follow John Boyega's character, Moses, and he is the leader of this pack, and they're clearly following him. And you see that, like, he has been influenced by these adults in this area and has this perceived idea of, like, what he's supposed to be. Like, one of the only times you see him smiling, like, a genuine smile, is when the drug dealer gives him, like, hard drugs to sell. Because now he's, like, escalated. Yeah, and he comes out and he's, like, you know, proud. And he's, like, peacocking a little about it, like, bashfully, you know? And that's, like, the first and, like, really only time you see him smile. Yeah. Well,
because he feels proud of himself, you know, that he was able to, like, reach that level.
Yeah. But that says, like, a lot. Like, that's, you know, very defining of this character already. Like, this is a kid who really values literally just, like, you know, selling drugs. Because that is a status.
Well, yeah, and it's also, like, if you think about it, so, like, I work in after-school programs where they say, like, if there is a place where after-school programs don't exist, where kids can't build, like, a sense of community in, like, a school or, like, a place where, like, they feel comfortable, they'll find places where they feel, like, people value them and, like, comfortable, and then that they can build, like, camaraderie and, like, have a club. The club is the situation he's in because there's not other options available because no one funds schools. And in low-income spaces, like, that, there's not enough money to give to programs that would be doing positive things.
Yeah. Well, it's like cults, right? It's like you're going to find someone who's going to understand you.
Yeah, and you need camaraderie.
If you do, no matter how bad it might look. Yeah. If the benefit is that you have a community and you have people who understand you and love you unconditionally, or at least to your perception, then, like, you're going to go for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just natural. It's human.
Yeah. And I think, like, so we see, you know, these kids, like, it's playful in the beginning, right? Where they see the aliens start to come down, like, we're going to go get some more.
Well, because they're very much kids. They're just kids in this situation that have very real situations also going on. Yeah.
But we see all of the different, like, kids running and getting, like, their odds and ends, like, weapons. Like, one kid has, like, a katana. Like, 100% and then, like, another has fireworks. And they have just, like, all these odds and ends of things. And we never do see Moses' house during that montage. We just see these kids. And there's, like, the one who's, like, always calling his mom because she's wondering where he is. And we saw the young girls and stuff. And I think what's really powerful is these scenes where Moses is confronting the realities of the situation. And if you took out, like, aliens as the prompt, it becomes very real, right? Like, when he has this whole conversation where they're hiding out where the girls are, and there's what is her name, Tia, who's, like, honestly one of the most intelligent characters in this film, and was, like, super down to earth. Like, the one girl was like, they ain't coming here, blah blah blah. She's like, this is my house, so I'm gonna let him in, right? And she's very mature for her age, and I really wish there was more of her, and that she wasn't just this, like, little
But she was a fantastic character, for sure.
Wonderful. And so, like, there's this whole scene where they're, like, holed up together, and as his, like, friends are, you know, like sitting around together. It's revealed that they had robbed the doctor because she's there with them, and Tia's like very, very disappointed, and it's just very much like, oh, are you serious? Like, that's where I knew you would end up this way, right? And it's like this, and you can tell it like gets to Moses like immediately,
because
like
he cares what she thinks.
Yeah, and also like he just cares about his life, right?
Yeah.
And if people that he cares about perceive him that way, because he's surrounded by his like lackeys, right? Who are always like, yeah, man, oh my god, like of course, like trust, bro, and all that stuff. And
it's just like a really influenceable age too. Like you care what people think at that age. Like you want to be cool.
Yeah.
And it's hard to please everybody.
Yeah.
In that situation, it's like you want her to think you're cool, but you also want your friends to think you're cool, and
it's tough. And there is like, so after this moment, there is a lot of like where his friends are kind of like dropping like flies at this point. They are dying, and she essentially is just like, it is your fault. Like, you came here and now they're dead. Like, you did it. Like, you showed us that thing you killed earlier, and now people are dead. And they're only coming after you. And it's like this moment of realization. And when you think about it, like, if we just took, like, him going and selling drugs, right? Like, he's taken them kids with him. Like, they're following him. They were there with him to rob. They're there to put him up. So if he got into that scene, those kids are in that scene.
Yeah.
You know? So it is essentially like he would, like, if we take aliens out of the situation, he got them kids killed, right?
Yeah, from them, like real following life, him.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it is this time where you see that. But there's a lot of times where we're seeing how young he is, too. Yeah. Like, one of the best scenes for that is where he's trying to, like, apologize in the best way he knows how, where he says to... her name is Sam. I'm just going to keep calling her the doctor. And he says to her, if we knew you lived here, like, we wouldn't have robbed you. Right. Yeah. And it's essentially saying, like, we don't rob our own. Right. Like, they only go after those that they think can afford to. Right. Like, they have so much, they don't need this stuff. We do.
Robin
so it's justified.
Mentality, essentially.
Right. It's justified. And she's like, okay, so if I live somewhere else, it's okay that you rob me? Like, she has this, like, snarky, like, not snarky, but, like, honest response, right? Yeah. And the friend, man, what is his name? It's, like, a weird... It's a weird name. But his friend essentially says to him, or says to her, like, can you see he's trying to apologize? Yeah. Like, just blatantly, like, to her. And... she's just, like, kind of, like, looks at him for a minute. And I feel like it's, like, it's a moment where she sees that he is young, right? Because, and the friend's name is Pest, I found it. That Pest is just, like, that's his best way this kid knows how to do it. Like, he is honestly trying. This is, like, where his heart is in it. And he just, like, doesn't fully get what was wrong. Because this is, like, his reality. And then there's, like, the even more impactful scene is... where she goes down to, start the gas, and she's in his apartment, and she keeps asking, like, is anyone going to be here? And he's like, no. And it's like, okay, well, where's the parents? Or where's your chaperones? Like, where's that? And so she's in there, and then she sees, like, a bedroom that has, like, children's blankets. Yeah. And so she's like, do you have a younger brother? And he's like, no. And then she's like, how old are you? Yeah. And he says, 15. And it's, like, this moment for her of just, like, this is a kid, and this is all, like, he's obviously living in this place. He has an uncle who comes and goes, mostly goes, right? Yeah. And this is all he has, and he's having this really brave and, like, sacrificial moment where he's giving up everything to, like, make right the wrongs. Even though, like, you know, it's a little too late, people have lost their lives from it, but he's finally, like, turning back. And it's, like... it is really, really emotional. And on top of that, just the aliens themselves, right, are really fun. They're just like these gorilla things that have no eyes, and you just see their teeth. Yeah, they're glowing teeth. Which are really cool. But, like, there's this really, really, really impactful line, which is, like, summarizes, like, what is actually happening, right? Like, what the metaphor is, it's, like, handed right to you. Yeah. And it's literally something that Moses says. So, because, like, when you think about it, these aliens are coming in, they're harming them because of an action he took,
Yeah.
right? And so it's just like clearly law enforcement is like present in there, but also like the government and other ways that we've used to suppress certain peoples. So he says, no, I reckon, yeah. I reckon the feds sent them anyway. Government probably bred those things to kill black boys. First they sent in drugs, then they sent guns, and now they're sending monsters in to kill us. They don't care, man. We ain't killing each other fast enough, so they decided to speed up the process.
Yeah, I do.
And this is a
remember that scene.
15-year-old boy
Yeah.
who's like, no. Yeah, this is the war on drugs. This is
Yeah.
like, you know, like,
No, yeah,
I
that's
couldn't
what
put
it
it
is.
past them that it would, like, they find out it's like some about pheromones and stuff. But honestly, yeah, it could have been. Like, because no one's coming to help. The cops are there. The cops are a presence throughout the entire thing, but are never there. Like, they're
Yeah.
just this, like, they're more, like, looming and dangerous than the aliens a lot of the time. Because they're,
Yeah.
like, they're, prohibiting them from leaving. Because it's like, okay, they're, like, and to the point where they're like, I'd rather fight these aliens than have to go and fight that cop.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of moments where the doctor
Yeah.
has these moments of like privilege.
Yeah.
Where, like, you already named one, but the other one, she's like, we'll call the police and we'll get you to the hospital. And they're like, absolutely not. Like, they're not
Yeah.
going to do anything positive. And it's like, and also just, I feel like her not understanding that he was trying to say sorry or that, like, they are children. Like, just
Yeah.
really seeing them as thugs, essentially, who had tried to rob her. Just, like,
Yeah.
really, she was very great at showing, like, the privileged end, even when she is in the same housing unit.
Yeah.
And how she is just not on the same page.
Yeah, she's still better than those boys.
Yeah.
Because she didn't live there her whole life either.
Yeah.
And she's not impressionable. And, yeah, and like, there's like her when she goes to see her friend, and they're like, you need to call the cops. And she's like, they're monsters. And it's like, it's funny because it's like, we're put into face to face with real monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, look, that's a monster. Or the guy who tried to shoot us because he thought we like stole his drugs. That's a monster. Like, we're just kids.
Yeah.
And I think, like, yeah, I think her seeing them for what they were was a really great, like, having her there was really awesome to kind of see that parallel and to see the growth from all of them. But it was so much more than what it was. And I really, really loved it so much. And there's just like that beautiful, like, there's that scene where they're arrested, right? And you're just like, of course.
Yeah.
Right? Like, but they're cheering his name and he finally smiles again.
Yeah.
Right? He's getting that recognition, but this time it's like, because he is a hero this time.
Yeah, he did
He
something
really
positive at the
did
end of
it. And so he can smile, and this time we can be like happy that he smiled. And it's so genuine. And it's like, you can tell it's like from a kid who doesn't ever get to do that.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, all I'm saying is trust, bro.
Yeah. Trust, bro.
Yeah. Allow it. Allow it. That's what he said.
Yeah.
It was so cool. It's so fun. I love that they were like cool kids. Like,
No, they
cool
were
little
great.
ratchet kids.
It was a very fun time. I just like happened to be watching it with you. Like, it wasn't even for the
Yeah. I just
podcast,
wanted to
and then
watch
we were
it.
just like, oh wow, look at that, look at
phenomenal.
Fitz.
Yeah. So
If it fits,
I'm
it
glad we
sits.
watch it. We sits.
Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings.
So if you like it, it's trust, bruv.
Trust.
Yeah. So they say it. Allow it. He's not cute. And then if you don't like it, it's an alien, a vampire, and a zombie walk into a bar.
Yeah.
And that's Freaks of Nature in a nutshell. Yeah. So for the topic of like aliens and them coming down here and us loving them.
Trust, bro.
Trust,
Also,
bruv.
shirtless Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah,
Thank you, Jeff.
that's a good
Like,
one. Thank you,
100%.
Yeah, if they look like that, bring them.
If they look like me,
Yeah,
I
bring
don't
'em.
know.
Bring them anyway.
Yeah.
That's fun. I think as long as
I'm
like one,
sparkly.
as long as they don't like attack us, and then as long as by them not attacking us, we decide we're the stronger one and then we enslave them or put them in concentration camps like District 9 type.
No.
As long as we're not doing either of those
we're
things.
not I was like, whoa,
No, I don't
Gabe.
want to do that.
Wow.
No,
That
like,
took such a dark turn. I was like, do we need to move out? I don't understand who
I
you
was
are
like,
anymore.
We're not doing that.
Okay, good.
As long as that is not happening.
No, it's like
then I'm
100%
fine.
yes, aliens, please.
If people can just like, if we band together and then we're like, we're all humans and also
Got chills.
friends.
Alien chills.
Aliens just, we got friends and then it's good.
Yeah, I mean, in all my research, a lot of people think they're going to be friendly. Mm-hmm. Like, people believe in aliens, and they also think, like, if it happens, they'll be like, oh, nice.
Well, it's like, they're going
More
to come all
friends.
this way. I feel like it would be nice.
I mean, I get the whole, like, they're out of a resource, so they come all this way to get a resource. Or,
Yeah,
like,
but I
there's
still
a
don't see them being
dangerous
evil
alien
about
race
it.
who, like, doesn't have empathy, and
No,
they
yeah.
just destroy planets for fun. Like, I could see either of those scenarios.
Show me what you got. And then we all have to dance.
Make music and
Yeah.
dance. But yeah, I definitely...
Shifty.
in here. Yeah, I definitely see it being like, or I don't know. I don't know if we'll even be able to communicate with them. I think ultimately...
Yeah, like, what
or
is
like,
that?
what even are they? Are they going to be like the gaseous...
We don't have a Rosetta Stone of
What if
alien.
they're the gaseous thing where it's
Yeah.
Morty
Yeah.
has that thing going
Yeah,
on?
it's
or-
fat.
Yeah, that's what...
Fat. Yeah.
Fat.
What if it's fat?
We don't
That's
know.
fine. He was cool. I mean, he was kind of evil, but he was also cool.
Yeah, it's like we don't know what it's going to be.
Or what it already is.
Like, there's no way. And also, I don't think we're, like, close.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll see it in our lifetime.
Like, actually, like, talking to him.
Yeah, I
doing
think if
stuff.
anything, maybe the next generation will get to
Star Trek.
experience this thing. But I don't think it's going to be in ours.
Space Force.
Like, we're just not even close. We're making a lot of strides, but I don't see us going to
Actually
space,
doing it.
like, in a real big way
Yeah.
anytime soon. So,
Yeah, I feel that. What about the films?
they're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy them.
Allow it.
Allow it. Yeah. I have a bunch of new favorites now.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Like
It was a fun
different favorites
time.
too. They were all so different that I was
Yeah.
just like, I
Really
feel like
quirky
we
and just-
walked our way into like the serious. Like I feel like if we had started with Attack the Block, then we might have been like, like I mean we would still enjoy it, but I
Yeah.
feel like we'd be like, oh, we're doing it again. We're getting serious, but
We
because
definitely would
we
have approached
started,
this differently.
yeah.
Yeah.
But starting with Earth Girls Are Easy, we were like, it's fun.
Yeah, dancing.
It's fun. They can steal a car. I don't know how to
Romance.
drive it. She's so dumb, and I love it. Where she like pops
she's
out of the closet, and
ridiculously
she's like
dumb.
dressed all in her lingerie to like flirt with him, and she lands on the girl that he's in there to cheat with, and she's like, "Oh my God, are you like Ted's friend? Like, I'm sorry, I'm not usually dressed like this." And then he's like, "All right," and it was like, "Oh my God, she's so dumb." It was great. It was so entertaining for her to be dumb too, because usually
Yeah.
she's like a reasonable character. So that was fun.
she was just fantastical all around.
It was the whole thing is fantastical.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my like favorite cheesy things. And Freaks of Nature was pleasant. I enjoyed
It's just
it.
a good time.
But Attack the Block is
Fun
now like a top.
Saturday, Sunday,
10.
whenever we watched at night.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and top 10 for Attack the Block.
yeah.
Out of like horror movies, I think that's gonna go up there.
Oh, it was good. It was saying a lot with
And
like.
it did it without being like here and like shoving it in your face kind
Yeah.
of thing. It was just like, oh my God, this is so fun. Also, like, did you think about how gentrification affects the youth? And it's just
Yeah.
like also shooting up aliens and like cute, funny like kids talking, and you got probs and mayhem shooting them with gasoline, and then it's like
Yeah.
also like think about the kids selling drugs, and you're like, oh my God.
No,
This
there
is
was just like a
wonderful.
lot of like political commentary that was
Yeah.
going down, and it was a fantastic time.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's from 2011.
yeah, it's dope.
Like, it was saying a lot of stuff that we're dealing
Mm-hmm.
with now.
Yeah.
Then.
It was mentioned in Black Noir, the documentary that we watched, and
Yeah.
since then I was like, oh, what is that? Is that John Boyega? What's up? And then, my boyfriend also loved the movie, so I was like, all right, I'll watch a movie because you love it. And then I was like, I love it now, it's mine.
Yeah, it was really good. It was saying a lot.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a lot of fun. And this is the end of our, 2020 future type kind of series as far as, technology and romance. And we're starting a new series next week. for next month, and it's gonna be intense again. So
Yeah.
get ready for us to educate you and be a little upset.
We had to have this fun, goofy one in the middle, which honestly, I mean, we're pretty tired, so we just look cool in the middle
Yeah,
before we get real serious times again.
yeah.
You
And
know,
then
brain
we'll
break,
have
as they
Goofy
say.
at some point. But like for our 100th episode, it's coming up.
Clowns!
After this intense period, we will have a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get married.
They'll eat your kids, or your kids will be alien babies.
Or your kids fight aliens.
Romance.
Oh.